What's up, y'all? I'm Master Hogan. Today we're talking about overhead arm mobility and how you can increase that using a pull-up. Alright, so the reason that I think this is important is because mobility of this whole range of motion using your shoulder blade, shoulder girdle, all of that relates directly and indirectly to pretty much everything that your upper body does. Alright, so that could be things like throwing, things like pressing over your head, all right, to name like a few basic ones. And those are actually things that what I'm going to show you today directly helps with, okay? It actually has like a direct effect on how you can become better at those, all right? So we're focusing today on the bottom part of the pull-up. Okay, and I'm going to show you exactly what that means here in a second, but I'm going to explain it first. So pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to get on the bar. Okay, that's what I'm using today. You can use anything that you'd like that you can hang on. So that could be a bar like this. If you don't have one, you can do this with things around the house like the edge of some stairs you could hang on, or even you could go outside and find a tree branch or something like that. Bars at a bar park, anything like that, and use those. Okay, so pretty much anybody can do this in this weird, funky self-quarantine time that we're all trying to navigate through. Okay, so I'm gonna hop on and show you what's up. So pretty much you're starting by just hanging on the bar. That is the first piece of this. So we're targeting, and to throw it back to last week's video, we're targeting the end range of this movement. Okay, so all of the muscles that are going to be used during a pull-up will be most extended in the very bottommost part of the hang where you're not actively like pulling at all. Okay, so once we hop on, what you're trying to do is you're going to hold in a most relaxed state. The first thing that you need to do is externally rotate your arms. So like your armpits are going to face the way that your head is facing, okay? And your humerus bone up here should be turning outward. That's why it's called external rotation, okay? So, should kind of see my shoulders turn a little bit. All right, and then you're going to posteriorly tilt your pelvis, so you're kind of locking everything into place by doing both of those. So instead of just being relaxed, you're turning and then locking everything into place, and that should be the bottom half of your hang before you even start pulling. Along with that, you are keeping your arms straight, so you're isolating the bottom range as much as you can. Okay, so after you do that, then if you're just starting, and this is where I would recommend everybody begins, you can see where you can progress to and how you can progress after you've tried this, okay? You're going to just pull so that your shoulder blades are moving down as much as they can without bending your arms. All right, so your arms are staying straight, okay? And you're pulling down. So it's really not much. So again, firm relaxed, here, lock in, and then I'm going to pull, my head will elevate, and my shoulder blades will go down. Okay? So that's how you begin to work on the end of your range. You can do that for time. That's how I started doing this. And coincidentally, if you've never done a pull-up, never been able to do a pull-up, anything like that, if you're working up to one pull-up, this is where you should start. You should start at just that and working up to being able to hold for time, and then you can work up to start doing the pull-up. Okay? Not many people deliberately train this range when they should, because along with this being the end of the range of mobility for most people, okay, and I want to say this actually about that too. Instead of just being flexible in that range, aka just being able to move your arm overhead, and hold that position, which is flexibility. You want to be able to actively move through that range, which is the difference between mobility and flexibility. You want to be able to actively move in and out of that position as you please. And training intentionally like this is training your mind and your body to actually do that. Okay, so that's another reason why this is important. All right, so when you're training mobility, I kind of look at mobility like this, and this is why you should start here as well. In the pull-up, if related to pull-ups, when you begin any pull-up, you're always doing this. Even if you're not intentionally thinking about it, you're always doing it. So it's necessary to become strong at doing that so that your overall pull-up can get stronger, okay? Like when you're building mobility, I kind of think of this like a house almost, okay? So the end of the range that you have control over is kind of like how tall, say, the wall of your house is, okay? So maybe it's like this high with bricks. As you begin to add ability to manipulate a range, it's kind of like you're putting on another brick. And as you do that, you tend to kind of like build up that wall even more as you build ability to move through that range and become more mobile. You're adding a brick each time until you have a full house. All right, so that's why this is important. And again, as we're doing this, we're gonna work through doing for time. Once you can do that pretty well, so I guess to vary this, to make it harder, you can go wide, you can go narrow, okay, for different things. If 2 hands is too easy, then we can go to 1 hand, okay? So this is how it would start to get harder if you're just focusing on that increase in mobility or just that part to help your pull-ups. All right, so the only difference with that is you got to really focus on pulling your shoulder blade down because it's harder since all of that weight is just on one arm, okay? So still you're hanging, and you really have to focus on externally rotating the arm so that you're not gonna spin around, for one thing, okay? And then really focus on driving that shoulder blade down toward the ground, okay? So again, hold, lock, and pull, okay? So that's what I have for you for that, all right? The only other thing that I want to say is when you're training pull-ups or any pulling movement, when you're doing this, you need to make sure that you're training all the way through the range, okay? So don't, like for example, when you're hitting the bottom of a range of a pull, don't relax like before you've actually anatomically reached the end of your range. So I guess what I mean by that is, say you're doing the bottom half of a row. If you're rowing and you're letting it down eccentrically and you give up like right here and you just drop your arm, you're missing out on the tension, the time under tension that you could have had from here all the way to the end of your range. So you're forfeiting the mobility and you're forfeiting the time under tension, which is strength, which leads to strength increases, okay? So if you didn't have enough of a reason to train your full range of motion or to stop doing cheat reps, there it is for you, okay? So, as always, appreciate your time. Stay safe with the Rona out. I'm Master Hogan. Take care. Now go wash your hands.